There's been a lot of talk lately about the Batman Part 2 getting delayed again. And honestly, it's starting to feel like Warner Brothers and DC Studios might need to ask themselves a tough question. Is it time to move on from this franchise? With all the speculation swirling around, it really feels like they're reaching a crossroads. On one side, you've got fans still excited for what Matt Reeves has planned. On the other, you've got a brand new DC universe starting to take shape, and the Batman might not fit into that vision anymore. Sure, it might seem strange to question this right now, especially since the Penguin spin-off just dropped, and people seem to love it. But when you really think about it, the hype around the Batman Part 2 just isn't as strong as it once was. The first movie came out in 2022 and gave us a gritty Year 2 take on Bruce Wayne. It was a solid, grounded story that worked well as a standalone film. That's probably why the Joker scene ended up getting cut. The movie didn't really need a big tease for what's next. But here's the thing. We're now over 3 years removed from that film. And by the time the sequel actually arrives, we'll be looking at nearly 5 years of waiting. That might not seem like a huge deal on paper, but in the superhero world, that's a lifetime. People move on. The DC universe is already evolving in new directions, and the excitement to follow this specific version of Batman just doesn't feel the same. It's also worth noting that neither the Batman nor the Penguin ended on some huge cliffhanger. If this whole storyline wraps up with Batman fighting Riddler and a gritty origin for the Penguin, that's fine. It's not like we're sitting in a Dawn might restore the Snyderverse situation, begging for unfinished plotlines to continue. DC Studios has this idea where stories that exist outside the main continuity are labeled as Elseworlds. Sounds cool in theory, but let's be honest, it's starting to feel just as messy as Sony's Spider-Man universe. Like how Spider-Man is part of the MCU, but his villains are off doing their own thing somewhere else. Confusing, right? Back when Ben Affleck decided he was done playing Batman, at least in a full-time role, it made sense to create a separate universe with the Batman. It was a clean slate, no baggage from the old DCEU. But now, DC is trying to build a shared universe again, and the brave and the bold is coming with a brand new Batman, who's also a dad and trains his son as Robin. So here's the problem. We're about to have 2 live-action Batmen running at the same time. That's not just confusing, it's brand dilution. Even Sony didn't go that far with Spider-Man. They stuck with one Peter Parker and kept the spin-offs separate. And sure, audiences aren't dumb. They can tell the difference between 2 versions of the same character. But that doesn't mean it's a good idea. Look at Superman and Lois. That show had to end just to make space for the upcoming Superman movie. Because having 2 versions of a hero on screen at once, it creates unnecessary comparisons, and most studios don't want that. Then there's the storytelling issue. One Batman is a rookie in a grim, grounded world. The other is a seasoned veteran with a sidekick and superhero buddies. They're different, but not that different. At the end of the day, they're both Bruce Wayne in a cape, and juggling both versions just makes things harder for everyone. Here's the ironic part. Even though DC is rebooting everything, they're still keeping certain characters from the old universe. John Cena's Peacemaker is staying. So is Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. So really, what's stopping them from just making Pattinson's Batman part of the new DCU? The Batman doesn't actually clash with James Gunn's plans in any major way. There's nothing in that movie that would break the new continuity. If anything, using Pattinson as the DCU's official Batman could be the smartest move. It was a critical and commercial success, and tying that into the rebooted universe could give this new chapter a strong, familiar foundation. Especially with Superman launching soon. Of course, Matt Reeves would need to be open to letting his version of Gotham connect to a larger world. But that doesn't mean turning the Batman into a full-blown crossover event. Superman doesn't have to show up in Gotham. The city can still feel isolated and dark, just with the option of bigger connections when needed. And let's be real. Pattinson doesn't have to be in every team-up movie or Justice League event. Batman has always worked best as a mysterious solo figure anyway. You can use him sparingly, almost like an urban myth. Keeps the character's mystique alive, and it also lets Reeves keep his vision intact while still playing in the bigger DC sandbox. Now here's where things get even murkier. we still don't know why the Batman Part 2 keeps getting delayed. Some scoopers online keep hinting at something big, but no one's really saying what the issue is. Could it be creative differences? Could it be something personal with Matt Reeves? We don't know. And if it's something personal, then of course, all respect to Reeves and his time. But here's the problem for DC Studios. While the Batman Part 2 takes forever to get moving, everything else starts slowing down too, especially the brave and the bold. And that's a movie DC needs to get right, because it's meant to be a pillar of the new DC universe. The longer they sit on Batman, arguably DC's most bankable character, the more damage it does to the brand. Right now, DC is betting big on lesser-known characters like Sergeant Rock and Clayface to carry the next phase. And let's be honest, that's a pretty risky move when your most iconic hero is just waiting on the sidelines. James Gunn is trying to build a new universe that can go toe-to-toe with the MCU. And for that to happen, Batman has to be front and center. You can't build a DCU without him. He's the anchor, the tone setter, the one that gets general audiences locked in. So, what happens next for the Batman? Well, there's a lot that could go either way. If Warner Brothers and DC Studios decide to keep pushing this franchise as an isolated entity, it risks losing the momentum it had at the start. The longer we wait, the more disconnected this version of Batman will feel from the rest of the DC universe. And that's not something DC can afford, especially with Gunn's plans for a shared world. But if they decide to integrate Pattinson's Batman into the broader DCU, there's potential to make this a huge win. We're talking about a critically acclaimed film series with a built-in fan base, ready to be a key piece in a brand new universe. That's a golden opportunity. The key is finding that balance, letting Reeves' vision breathe while also allowing for some crossover to tie it into the bigger picture. At the end of the day, Batman is DC's biggest draw. The fans want him, and the brand needs him. No matter how many delays or rumors we hear, one thing's clear. Batman can't be sidelined for long without hurting the future of the entire franchise. So, what do you think? Should DC move on from the Batman and focus on the new shared universe? Or is there still room for Reeves' version of Gotham in the bigger DCU? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.